Dude, but we can't even get there yet. So what was childhood like? You know, when what were you
it was
into?
interesting, man. Like I always think, like I kind of like brushed off like a lot of my childhood, all the weirdness in it because I thought it was normal at the time until like recently. I'm like looking back on, I'm like, there's a lot of little unique pieces in that puzzle. But yeah, I was born in Savannah, Georgia. Lived there for a couple of years. I think I even made a stop up to South Carolina when I was like maybe like 1 or 2 years old, and then I actually lived in Indiana from like 3 to like 9 years old. So I was in Indiana for like 6 years, like little tiny.
What was weird about childhood a little bit?
What's that?
What was weird about childhood a little bit?
Just a lot of things. I mean, I lived in Indiana for one, just in the middle of nowhere, which like in a town that had like one stoplight, and that's about it. And
What was weird about childhood a little bit?
What's that?
What was weird about childhood a little bit?
Just a lot of things. I mean, I lived in Indiana for one, just in the middle of nowhere, which like in a town that had like one stoplight, and that's about it. And yeah, my parents were always doing like very unique stuff. I mean, my dad did construction, but like he was also very involved with like mission trips and missionary trips and stuff like that. We had like foster brothers and sisters that would live with us and stuff when we lived in Indiana. And then when we moved back to Savannah, we actually moved back to this place called Bethesda Home for Boys. So it was like basically what used to be in like the 1700s or 1800s was like well, I guess it would be the 1800s, was like a big like plantation style, like it used to be an orphanage, but now it's like a home for like just, it's like called a home for boys, for it's like a not really sure what you'd call it or what the name would be for that today, but it's just like for kids who like parents aren't around or troubled teenagers or this and that. So we lived in a house that was like a single level house that like half of it was like a normal family house, and then you like open the door and then the other side of the building was like kind of like a hostel style living with rooms and bunks and stuff like that. And my parents were basically were responsible for a certain amount of kids that were in that house. And then there was like 6 houses on the like in the entire thing of land, but it was a beautiful like really old southern like just like go in
Forrest Gump kind of like property.
Totally. I mean, that's just like that, like right on the marsh and hanging moss trees, just kind of really old southern style land. And at the time, that was totally normal for me. You know, I was like, "Oh, this is just what we do."
It sounds cool. It sounds like, you know, this is the foundation, because you do a lot of traveling probably for your sport, right? And you're nomadic, kind of cool, you know, and this is like kind of like you're like, yeah, you know, I'm used to meeting people coming and going and different personalities, you know. And,
yeah, I guess so. I guess that did help. You know, I mean, it definitely made you, I guess, maybe easier to kind of connect with different people. And yeah, I mean, I think I was like raised really well, like from a young age, just like treating other people the same and stuff like that, you know. So
what was school like? What were you, good student, bad student? What was that like?
You know, I went to elementary school, and then middle school was rough in Savannah, man. It was rough. The schools aren't that great. I mean, unless you go to like a private school or something, which I did not. But yeah, I'd say that was probably the roughest period of my young life, was definitely like middle school.
Why?
I would say just because didn't really have like a place to fit in. I never really fit into anything. Like it was very like, you know, in the South, you know, I feel like what I loved about California was it was like kind of like a cultural melting pot, you know. In the South, it's kind of just like the demographics is like white and black, right? And then like my school was like very like I almost was like a minority, you know, in a point. And I got like bullied and stuff like that for that, or like you get picked on and like for that. And then I had like a 45-minute bus ride to school in the morning for like to get to my school. And then like even the kids that like maybe I like the skateboarder kids that I tried to like, you know, like fit in with, like they were weird too. So it was just like kind of never really fit into any little area, you know. And then like my best friend that like I started hanging out with in middle school that I grew up with, like he was like kind of with the preppy kids. I definitely didn't fit in, you know. So I was like more of a skateboarder, and then I don't know. Yeah, it was interesting.
What's it like being? I gotta know. What's it like being a skateboarder in Georgia?
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like it's not exactly encouraged, you know. Like especially growing up when at that time, action sports. There wasn't really a place for action sports in the South. You know,
How did you get into it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I think I just hopped on a skateboard one day or something and just started kind of like skating around. And then I think as I got into like middle school and I met some of the other skateboarders or people, and I kind of like pursued that a little bit more, probably around 6th grade or like maybe even like 5th grade. I was already already very into sports because I have 2 older brothers. And the oldest one kind of got me into like sports and had an interest in sports. I played soccer, played football. And I was like super into like doing backflips. So I remember watching like Power Rangers when I was a kid. So I taught myself how to do a backflip. So when I was in 5th grade, I actually, me and some of the kids that like I would hang out with, I was like one white kid out of these, like all these epic dudes that were like just doing like freaking backflips for fun, you know, like we just go do backflips in the neighborhood. And